Meanwhile, our Dave Savini has uncovered new details about that officer's past. And Dave, there are serious questions about why he was hired multiple times.
Well, CBS News has uncovered notes from one of Grayson's former police chiefs during a reference check for his next police job. It was a warning of the trouble Grayson had already caused, and it doesn't stop there. Another supervisor said he failed to obey orders, especially during the high-speed chase you're about to see.
We're at the end of 2nd Street. She's taking a right.
Like with what happened here at his 5th police job when he refused an order by a superior at the Logan County Sheriff's Department to terminate a high-speed chase over a traffic infraction. His speed at times reaching 110 miles per hour.
Are you pursuing? I'm about to terminate. She's flying up 121 right now.
But Grayson didn't stop. He did, however, turn off his lights and siren, but kept going anyways until he hit a deer.
Well, I'm terminated because the buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
Did you violate a direct order
Yes.
from the supervisor about termination?
Yes, I did.
Grayson was questioned by a deputy chief and other top staff after that crash in Logan County.
Do you agree, before we conclude this, that there is a mountain of policy violations
Yes, I did.
that you committed? 7 months on, how are you still employed by us?
I don't know.
Yet he continued to get a pass over and over again. Even during the Logan County hiring process of Grayson, there were warning signs from another past employer, the Auburn, Illinois Police Department, where he worked in 2022. CBS News obtained these notes from a discussion between the Auburn chief and a representative from Logan County, where Grayson had applied for a new job. It states the Auburn chief said Grayson struggles with report writing, that he was very aggressive with getting drugs. The chief expressed concern that Grayson was too aggressive and that Grayson posted his drug arrests on Facebook. And the chief called him a bragger and was not great with evidence, left items laying around office. Sangamon County board member Mark Ayers is on the jail committee that authorizes the hiring of new sheriff deputies. He says he was never informed of any negative notes about Grayson prior to hire, and his background was not shared with the committee.
I would never bring on someone that had that troubled past or that record.
His background was never shared. I don't get that, because we know whenever you're trying to get a job, whether it's in law enforcement or not, most jobs are interested in your work history and your background. So how in the hell was he able to get a job without them sharing his background history? I seen the video today where the chief actually got up and spoke. He said, "I've never said this in my history of being a chief. We failed." Yes, you did. Yeah, you did.
But the failure, I feel like, it's a natural failure. Like, things like this are gonna happen naturally. I feel like definitely I do feel like when it comes to that, though, there should have been some noting or something on it. Like, you should carry, as an officer of the law, I feel like you should carry your baggage to the jurisdiction.
Let's go back to what you said. You said naturally this happens. What do you mean by that, bro?
Naturally, going back to the 5 to 10% of human population that is corrupt.
Gotcha.
That's why I mean, when it naturally, these things are gonna happen. But when it comes to circumventing those natural occurrences, the pieces and places in place to look at these things and these, offenses and jurisdictions and these, I don't know what that was, a deposition or what that was, but I feel like that should have followed him to make the decision so that they could have the decision to say, okay, we want you on our team or not. And if they said, we want you on our team, even with this, then that would make sense as to that, what you said, the sheriff or him saying we failed, that would make sense, because it almost validates the point that you're saying when it comes down to that failure, them knowing about his stuff and letting him still work type of thing.
So you believe that Malcolm, which is the new law enforcement he was with, which he just got fired from, you feel like they did notice?
I mean, I don't know that information. I mean,
because if we go by what the white guy said at the end, he's like, I had no information about any negative things about this guy work history. So to me, what that tells me is the precinct or the police task force he was a part of prior to moving to the new one, they kept it under wraps. And that would make me want to know if he was that bad with you, why would you cover that shit up when he's trying to go somewhere else?
Right.
I was saying he was that bad they wanted to get rid of him, that they hid his shit so nobody wouldn't see it, but they knew nobody wasn't going to hire him.
But why would you want somebody to hire somebody that you don't even want on your force?
Bro, that beats me. I don't know, bro. I think the whole system corrupt. If you ask me, he was planted there. If that's the case, if you want to ask me, somebody put him there. Somebody wanted him to be there.
But I don't know how the transfer happened. I don't know if he got fired or they say, you know what, we're gonna send you over here to Malcolm. I don't know how it happened because
more than likely he got fired.
Exactly. So you said he was a plant and he was placed there. That if he got fired, then he couldn't be placed nowhere. He had to apply.
Listen. If he got fired from one place, right, and he got a job at another place, and they didn't see his records from the last place, somebody wanted him there.
But how would they know what he was going to apply for next?
We don't know who he knows.
I see.
Listen, you're asking questions, right? But you don't like the answers that's given. Okay, if you can't if we can't figure out where the drug's coming from, then the system must be putting them out there. If we can't put our hand on a nigga or a person, then it must be systematic. Same with this, bro. I look at the system fault.
I will salute. I guess salute him for saying or taking the accountability in saying that yes, there was a failure here, like just how the Secret Service did with Donald Trump. They said yes, there was some things, and there was a whole shift of power as to the head of the Secret Service. One of the people, there was a shift. So when it comes down to it, the accountability is good to see. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, most definitely. And it takes a lot as a leader of a precinct to say that. And he already said that. I've never said this in my whole career. So the fact that he said that, I genuinely think they did not know, because why would you bring somebody on who got a history like Grayson?
I mean, it wasn't really nothing egregious that dude was saying. I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, it was some bad shit, but it wasn't nothing egregious. They didn't say he was fucking people up or he had complaints. Most of the stuff that they said was, to me, stuff that could be looked over when you're in the law force. Right. I didn't see nothing real egregious with the things that dude read off. That was his problem when he said something about him bragging on Facebook and stuff like that. I didn't see nothing egregious to the point where you wouldn't want him to be on the law force. We don't know how many people might, they get the call and say, hey, stop chasing this motherfucker, or stop, pursuit. And this motherfucker that close, and he's like, man, fuck that, I'm going to keep going. Like, that could happen a lot. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes the criminal might get caught. Sometimes a bad accident might happen and somebody else get killed. And then, yeah, we told you to stop. You didn't stop. Now your ass going to jail. However that may happen, I'm not saying that don't happen. But I didn't see nothing on there that was egregious enough to take his badge.
When it comes down to it, I started the convo off with saying what's naturally happens and things in the natural human, instinct or whatever. Because the reason I always go there is because in these jobs like this, when we talking about the position of police officers, none of us on this panel would do that. So if none of us on this panel would do that, there's a bunch of other people who do not want to do this job. Cupcake mentioned something about teachers and how there's a shortage of teachers. And there's definitely been police forces who have had shortages of officers. And that strictly boils down to nobody wants to actually do this job.